in Pelham Waters is at 612 South 32nd Street, and you can reach them by calling 576-6481. Very pleased, as always, and listen up, liberals, you might learn something. Very pleased to welcome back to the program Congressman Randy Feenstra. How are you, sir?
Hey, Mike, great to be on today, and I am in the swamp in D.C. today, literally and figuratively. It's about 98 degrees high humidity here, and so that's another reason to call it the swamp.
Well, it was a swamp, I guess, back in the day before the United States was a country, and I don't know what that means, but somehow the name swamp stayed with them, I guess. But,
exactly right, and also for its bureaucracy.
There you go. Congressman Feenstra, I want to start out with asking you about derecho funding. We didn't get torn up too bad here in Webster County, but I know other areas of the state, Cedar Rapids, Marion area, where my son lives, for example, a tree fell on his house, and that town was really hit hard down there in Cedar Rapids. I don't know what it is going on there with Cedar Rapids. Had a flood a number of years ago, and now this derecho thing. But was the derecho a factor much in Western Iowa, where you came from originally?
Yeah, no, not too much. It sort of hit on in the middle of the state, and then obviously went east. And the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said that of the 10 hurricanes that have hit land in America over the years, the derecho would be 9th out of 10 most expensive storms to hit our country. It was like $7.5 billion. That's how much damage was done.
My God, again, Cedar Rapids, when I went down there a week or two afterwards, couldn't get into town at first, of course, because there was too much destruction. They were very wary of looters, as they should have been. But, it was just a mess down there. Congressman Randy Feenstra is our guest, and on behalf of veterans everywhere, including myself, I'd like to thank you for talking about the Sergeant Ketchum Rural Veterans Mental Health Act. My son is also a veteran of the Iraq wars. He was in the Marine Corps and has a Purple Heart from being wounded in combat. There were a lot of young men that came home from that conflict scarred, and I think probably World War II and Korea too, although it was a different time and it wasn't talked about so much. But I would like to thank you for the Sergeant Ketchum Rural Veterans Mental Health Act. Could you explain that to us a little bit?
Exactly. I mean, you think of our soldiers coming back, and what we want to do is establish an additional rural access network to make sure that there's mental health resources in rural areas for those veterans coming back. And so often, they're at such a high risk of homelessness and inpatient hospitalization, all these things, and we owe it to them. I mean, they fought for our country. We owe it to them to take care of them, and that's what the Sergeant Ketchum bill does, the Mental Health Act. It says, you know what, we're not going to forget about you. We're going to take care of you, and unfortunately, it's a little late. Sergeant Ketchum lost his life. He took his own life because we didn't take care of him, but now we can. We have to make sure that we're doing it for everybody else. So I'm so proud to be a part of this and to get it passed.
Well, a veteran of my age, of my generation, and my dad's generation, frankly, we were luckier. There was a lot more coverage, I think, during those days because we had more veterans who were in Congress and in the Senate. We don't have that many now, so for you to step up to the plate on this, I really do appreciate it. Where was Sergeant Ketchum from?
He was from the Iowa City area. So,
okay.
Yep. Back in the day. Yep.
Well, that is a tragedy. I want to thank you for that and your work on the derecho funding. How's that derecho funding going? I'm sorry, maybe I left that too soon.
No, and we're going to find out this week. So we're promised from the other side of the aisle that it was going to be part of the next program appropriation markup. That's going to happen on Wednesday. And just a heads up, we're not asking for any more money. We're just simply asking that the USDA's Wildfire and Hurricane Indemnity Fund, called the WIP Plus program, include the word derecho. Because right now we can't get any of that money because derecho is not included. It's for hurricanes and for wildfire. So we're just simply asking that derecho word be included so we can access the funding. And so those that were in the derecho last year can access that funding. So we think we've got it done. We've worked with everybody on both sides of the aisle, and I'm hoping for a good outcome later in the week.
Well, I look forward to that as well. We're talking with 4th District Congressman, Iowa Congressman Randy Feenstra, and he's in the swamp, as he said. The first time in the swamp, you were in the state Senate quite a while. How was that? Just, I, there's got to be a little bit of a culture shock. I mean, you grew up. I mean, we all grew up in a rural area in the 4th District. Most of us, 99.9%. What's it like out there in Washington D.C. as far as the difference?
Yeah, it is a culture shock. I mean, first of all, the culture shock is this: when I was in the Iowa Senate, we were all Iowans together. So,
Yeah.
in essence, we had that working with each other. Now, I'm dealing with people from New York and California, and even sitting on the agriculture committee. They have no idea what a cow is or a hog. They talk about their almonds and pineapples and all this other stuff, and it just pains me that they don't know where their milk is coming from, or their steak is coming from, and in Iowa, we all knew that. So it's really a culture shock, and it's just such a struggle to get things done through agriculture and help our producers.
Yeah, boy, that's the truth. Didn't we get something done for the cattle raisers here recently? I should be more prepared than this.
Yeah, no, we're working on that. Senator Grassley and myself and others in our delegation, we're trying to bring to light that there's a monopoly. There's a pack of monopoly going on, and my family, my in-laws, we're big cattle producers. We're losing about $150 to $200 a head right now. It's just painful to see, and that just can't continue to happen because of a lack of pricing transparency, meaning that these packers create contracts, and if you're an independent contractor, you're left out in the cold. And so we're working with the senators on this issue and trying to resolve it.
Well, the pork producers, especially, at least locally, and we have more pork here than cattle, of course, in this part of the world, but the pork producers are a little mention that every now and then, the unfairness of what's happening with them. And I hope something can be done. The packing houses do seem to have a monopoly, and monopolies, let's not forget, they're anti-capitalist at its core.
Yes, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Exactly, we are a capitalistic country, and we got to let that prevail. We can't have people, dominate the market, and that's what's happening here, both cattle and hogs.
Yeah, I know what I was thinking about. Down in Southwest Iowa, they just announced that they're going to build. And this is always good economic news, and it shows that once again our dependence on agriculture. They're going to build a cattle slaughtering facility in Southwest Iowa, and the name escapes me. Again, I should be better prepared. But
I think it's out by Council Bluffs, and we're really excited about that. This is going to be big. I think they're going to actually kill 15,000 head a day, if I remember correctly. It's going to be very significant, and again, creates competition.
Well, Congressman Randy Feenstra is our guest. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge. If you ever get a chance to talk with that Texas Congressman Dan, the former Navy SEAL who lost.
Oh yeah, Dan Crenshaw. I love Dan Crenshaw, man. I mean, me and him talk a lot together. He is an honorable American, and I think a lot of him.
Well, if you see him, tell him I'd love to talk to him on the air, or I do admire him. But he has demanded now that a black female athlete who snubbed the flag during the Olympic trials, she turned her back on it, put a T-shirt over her head saying something about activist athlete, and she's allowed to feel and although she's allowed to act to speak out in any way that she wants, anywhere that she wants, I would say with a few exceptions. And I would think standing on the stand like that, the Olympic trial stand, would be one of those places. I mean, she's in front of the whole world.
It's shameful.
And she's saying, I don't like America.
Right. And here we're, she is training and she's standing up for America. And what is she? I just get so pained. We are the greatest country in the world, literally the greatest country in the world. And when I hear the national anthem, I want to, put my hand over my heart and say thank you for the freedoms and liberties we have. And yet we have people that are angry and mad about our country. It's like, go find another country then, please. Don't be part of our country. You can find another place.
We had a lot of hopes for a conservative Supreme Court, but they just ruled that in some court districts, federal court districts, the 4th District, I believe, and one other, that transgender youth can use the bathroom of their identity. In other words, someone could still be actually a male. They haven't had the surgery, they haven't had any, maybe a few hormone shots and that sort of thing, but they're actually still a male, and they'll parade right into the women's room or the young girls' room and use those facilities. I think that is wrong. Is there anything after the Supreme Court has made this determination that Congress can do?
Yeah, exactly right. Well, we have to take legislative action. Things are just different when you and I grew up, right? I mean, we never thought about these things.
No.
And I just don't understand where society is going with this. And obviously the Supreme Court punted this thing away, but you know what? We have to get back to how you and I lived. We didn't deal with this stuff.
Well, it's depravity. Face the facts, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, exactly.
Congressman Randy Feenstra has been our guest. We got about 1 minute. I'm going to give it to you, Congressman, and please tell us anything you'd like to.
No, I'll just tell you one other thing. I'm big on the budget again. The administration wants to spend over $6.5 trillion, and we only take in $3.25 a year, $3.25 trillion. They want to spend twice as much on their budget. Think about that. That's going to be on your backs, my children's backs. If that's what we're fighting for, we're fighting against this. It's ridiculous. This is what's causing inflation. This is why we're paying more at the gas pump. This is why we're paying 5 to 10 cents more for all the products that we're buying at the grocery store. I want everybody to understand that's a tax. It's a secret tax no one talks about. It's called inflation, and I'm fighting against it.
Congressman Randy Feenstra, thank you.
Thank you. Always great to be on with you, Mike.
This is AM 1400 KVFD.
We call him Willy Wonka. He's a chocolate lab. His belly itched, and he would actually lay in the grass and scoot across it to scratch. And Sheba, his sister, she scratched at her ears real bad, and she shook her head so much, she wound up with cauliflower ears.
DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition.
When we first got the Dinovite, they cleaned the bowls up real good. Her ears, they're a whole lot better. Wonka, his belly, it's all really cleaned up. He flops over and lays on his back and just kicks his legs, and I call it his happy dance. They look good and even smell good in between baths. You should give your dogs Dinovite before something happens. And that's kind of like preventative maintenance.
Dinovite for life.
It makes them healthier and happier.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
And your dogs will love it just like mine do.
DINOVITE.com.
When the storm clouds build in central Iowa, we'll keep you informed with the Severe Weather Advisor on the Voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD. We'll be here communicating with National Weather Service and local and state law enforcement so we can tell you where the storms are and what you need to do to stay out of harm's way. The Severe Weather Advisor is brought to you by Riley Armstrong Plumbing and Heating. Enjoy peace of mind that Riley Armstrong is here for you 24/7. Call 955-2232. Remember, when severe weather threatens, stay with your friends on the Voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD.
Okay, coming up, Jim Kirsten from Iowa Central Community College and longtime political operative. I don't know if Jim likes to be described as an operative, but on the other hand, he is an operative. Longtime member of the Republican Party. I saw Jim this morning. Several other people. We were honored. 3 o'clock, KVFD 49. KVFD in Fort Dodge, Iowa. It's 3 o'clock.
Maintaining hope for a rescue. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The search for possible survivors in a partial collapse of a Florida condo hampered today as falling debris has forced emergency crews to seal off a section of the search area.
The west side